it! We have so many people that have wanted to be on the tier list. The amazing tier list of what I think they would be, what you guys would be in a role type scenario. So we have a bunch. Hello, Excalibursaurus Rex. Hello, welcome. Thank you, Sam Gooter. Sam Gooter? Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So basically how this tier list is gonna work. I am... Hold on. Sorry. Excuse me for a second there. But I am deciding what I think a person's character would be based off of their look. If I know the character lore, which for some of these, most of them I do not. So most of them I am going off looks, but I'm using my character first to show and express how I think this would go out. So I'm going to start with me, because I feel like that's fair. You know, if I start with me, my character, by definition, in, like, if I want to do, like, serious lore and stuff, my character is a healer tank kind of character. A lot of my character's attacks are... like, they mitigate damage, and then I also heal. I don't have... My character canonically doesn't have any major, like, kill attacks, but I have a lot of, like, dispersing and negation attacks. So my character also can heal. So I fall under a tank healer category because of those kind of things. A character like... I'm gonna use Blazy, because Blazy is cool. Blazy... He is a snake boy Lamia. I think he would be a stealth damage because he's very quick, his character is very fast, he's very adorable, and he will catch people by surprise. Makes no noise. Very stealth, very damage. So, like, that's what I mean. So, like, I'm going off base like that, okay, if that makes sense. So, and we can go into what kind of attacks I think the character would have. Like, my character's pretty basic. I have a lot of healing attacks, a lot of big, like, energy barrier walls, that kind of stuff with, like, the green, you know, the green crystals and stuff. Energy-based attacks is very simple. Blazy, I could see him having, like, knives, like daggers. I think he could be like stab somebody and then drag them off into the unknown, into the abyss. Stuff like that. I think that. Also, wait. I am now seeing Ari. Did I... Hold on. 1 second. Like, I have... Where is it? There it is. I found it. Okay, there we go. I was like, I'm missing somebody. And if anybody else wants to join in, let me know, and I will add you as soon as you want me to. I think I got a lot of people in, and some of these people, I don't know the name of their characters. Is there a redeem to be on the list? I'm always out of the loop on this, on stuff. So me and Coach, just DM me. You all have my Discord. DM me real quick, and then DM me your images. If anybody wants to join in, join my Discord. DM me. Send me your OC character and stuff. Send me that real quick. I knew we would get a few people that would come in late. Yes. Excalibursaurus Rex. That is such a fun name to say, even though I'm going to butcher that. So, Tank Dive. Okay, so let me go through this. Tank Dive is a character. So the character type I have in my head for dive tank character. Think like Winston. Think of like tank characters that can move far and fast, and like, but also are big and strong and can tank damage, but also negate damage. So that's like a dive tank. So it's like a fast tanky character. Do I think we have any fast tanky characters on this list? I think there's one. I think Soulstone. I think Soul falls under the tank dive category. I think he would be a dive tank because he's a robot. I think he'd be a very cool dive tank, actually. I don't think that fits into his lore, but his design-wise screams to me dive tank or tank mitigation, which is just tank abilities, but also lots of damage. So, actually, I think tank mitigation fits more. because I feel like I think Soul slash Ben, I think his character is really tough. He has a very tough design. He's the dad bot. He is the dad bot. He is the dad bot. Okay, so and seeing the weapon he has on the picture, it's a very big weapon that he's using for one hand. He is using a massive weapon with one hand. And when you are using a massive weapon with one hand, that can only mean one thing. You're a damn tank. So, so yes, okay? I love tanks. I am a tank. My character is a tank too. I'm a tank healer though. I'm not like the big kind of tank. I'm tank through healing and negation of damage, which would also fall under mitigation, but mostly healer. Okay. There you go. I have DM. Okay, anybody else DM? Yes. Fenecnon, Tyne, DM me Discord, send me pictures. I have a lot of fan art, but you can use this. Okay. Interesting. I don't. Okay. That's fun. And then Drew. Oh, super dope. I'll use Drew's face. Drew. Because that'll look better on the tier list. I love the Drew. Is that a spear weapon? That's a spear or a lance? That's cool. I love the gym. So that I'm starting to think that's like mage DPS type B. A little bit. Like a hybrid between like a brute DPS, but like also a mage type build. Also Tyne, looking beautiful. Energy into it. Orange. Turns orange, eventually white. Okay, so it stores energy, so a little bit. Oh! Pinnacle, please. First. What's their name, Kasuna? Tell me their name. I'll add them into the list, because I've added a lot of other people's extra characters, and we'll get into that. Because why not? That'd be fun. Oh, Flame? Their name is Flame? Okay. That's easy to remember. Okay. Loga? Loga. Okay. Alright. Alright, so here we go. Devi is brute damage. I think, because his character kind of looks like a Venom, but also like, what's that? What's Nightcrawler? Like a Venom Nightcrawler? That's the kind of vibe he's giving me. Which is kind of cool, in a sense. I don't know much about Devi's character, but Devi is a cool person. And I do enjoy his character. His character's pretty cool. I like it. I think he'd be a brute damage, though. He doesn't fall under the... I think... Because brute damage is just brute force. You know, that's like your massive... Like your aimed guns. I guess there's also tactical damage. I should add that, because I think there's a difference. Let me add a row below. Because there's also utility support, which is different from support healer support. Because, yeah, that's definitely different. That's different enough. Let's make it. There we go. As CC or damage over time. Yes, yeah. Like, but also you have to be careful because there's like, we could get, I'm kind of including stealth damage with damage over time, like poisons and bleeding out, like damages like that. I'm including that under stealth damage. So tactical damage would be more like traps, I'm thinking, or snipers, or long distance tactical kind of damagery. Yes. So CC, all CC, I don't like having in my head. I don't like damage types having CC or crowd controls is what I think that means, which is what that means to me. When there's a CC character, like my character is a CC character. I CC and heal. I don't have many like actual damage abilities, but I have a lot of CC and I have a lot of healing abilities. I'm not a healer support because my character doesn't primarily heal. I heal somewhat, but I primarily tank. So, and that's going off of my character lore, not like my tiny VTuber. That's like the lore I have written out as a storyline for my other characters and stuff. So like that's why I'm up here. If it was like streamer lore, I'd probably be just healer support, so I'd be small. But you know, which I could also be down there too. Makes more sense. Yes. I am gonna need a drink though because I'm gonna be yapping quite a bit. So allow me to excuse myself so I can grab a drink, so that way I can keep yapping to you guys without many stops. So give me a second. I'm gonna go get a bottle of water. Bang! I'm back. I got a drink. I lied about the water. I got a Coke Zero. I saw it. I was like, Alright. Kasuna! Kasuna, I'm putting under stealth damage, because he's like a ghoul. He does a lot of like grapple take away attacks. I can see him doing that because of like how the ghoul fight style. He has a lot of utility though. He could fall under tactical damage, but he's more of a close range fighter, I would say. Speedy, heavy strength, yeah. You're meant like taking people out very quickly. Like they don't see you, you blitz them, you speed blitz them basically. So I would say that falls under stealth damage. Because brute damage is, you're fighting, like how I see it is you're fighting head on. You're a brute, you know? So, oh wait, thank you for the snuggles. Thank you for the snuggles. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so hard. Some of these characters are gonna be really, really hard to rank. Let me pull up the list so I can see their names though, so that way I don't butcher people's OC's names. Well, it'll happen. But it'll still happen. But I'm gonna try to negate that as much as possible. Okay. Let's do our first giant character. Zoe. Oh wait, Fennec. Okay, bye-bye! So wait, I got to... Let me add... Huh? There is Fennec. And Drew. And then... I think there was one more. Time. Tease. So many pictures we cannot see. Where did time get saved? I'm gonna have to resave that picture, aren't I? There's gonna be just a random time picture somewhere on my computer. I won't know where it is. I'm just gonna save another one. Save image. There we go. Did you get 4? It do be like that sometimes. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing that happens here from time to time. Oh, from time to time, yeah. Alright, there we go. So we'll start with our first giant character. I believe her name is Zoe Mascari. Zoe Mascari. And Zoe Mascari screams. So it's hard ranking giant characters, because giants, everybody's like, they're tank, but I don't see Zoe Mascari being tank. Size changing, that's like brute damage, I feel. Because that's very up close. That's very, like, you have to, you know, grow really big, do a lot of damage. I don't know how long the ability will last, but knowing giantess characters, it probably doesn't last. It probably is infinite. Never goes away. They're always big, which is kind of cool. So I think maybe, let me look. Maybe they added some extra info that I can read. Nice. So yeah, switching sides. So yeah, that would fall under brute damage if that's their main ability. Which is kind of cool, because if you can switch your size, that means you can also, you know, depending on if they have mastery over the ability, you can, you know, change the size of specific body parts. Like if they're under attack, and then they're like at their current size, and they don't want to accidentally kill their whole team because they don't want to grow big too quickly and then crush everybody, they could grow like their hand and reach out and grab the attacker and then maybe like crush inside the hand. Or if they have prep time, got gargle. Or they could just go full out attack. But in a team scenario, they would probably fall under brute damage. I could see like them having like specific armor sets that could protect them, you know. It depends, especially if they want to, like, I don't know the cap on the size, you know, because there's a point where you get so big that nothing hurts you, and then people would say that falls under tank, but I don't think so. I think that still would just be brute damage, because then it's just pure destruction, right? It's damage destruction, which that makes sense. So we could do that, yeah, actually, let me add that. Let me do a row above. We'll do light purple and because that makes sense. Destruction, damage. Oh, why is that doing that? Destruction, damage. Destruction damage. There we go. I don't like how that's doing that though. Whoops, I deleted poor Zoe, my bad. Destruction damage, there we go. And then I think that's where Zoe would be, because then it's like pure destruction. Like, think of like Shigaraki, I guess, or characters that they only destroy things with like big attacks. So yeah, because that would make sense. A lot of giant characters would fall under just pure destruction then, because, you know, a raid boss tier, maybe, but I don't want to give any. We could do raid boss, like a raid boss tier list another time, because there's different levels to raid bosses, right? But think of this as like if they were in a group of 5, like a team, like think of like any hero shooter, and then or team-based, ability-based game. Think of it more like that, and that's kind of how I'm processing this. So I'm thinking of like, I guess good characters like this would be, I guess destruction category would be like Reaper from Overwatch would be a good destruction category. Is that are small and just as devastating as giant ones. Or monster or some kind. Yeah, exactly. See? Yes, exactly. Okay, we're getting to our first support. Hutski. Hutski. I think Hutski definitely falls under utility support. I've played with Hutski. Hutski's very tactical. Hutski's he's very smart. I don't see Hutski as damage, to be honest. He could be damage. If he was a damage, he would be under stealth damage. But I see him more as a utility support. And what that means is, like, he provides tools, knowledge, like, tactics, you know, things and abilities that would help the team win, not through just pure healing. So, like, your damage supports, like Elari, or Loki from Marvel Rivals, you're like a damage type support, you know? So like mostly doing damage but has utilities to help the team heal and or cause situations for the enemies to get disrupted into getting a win or achieving a victory in battle. Which I think that would be good, because I think Hutski has a lot of those like very kind of personality, I think. Personally, that's what I will put him. Looking. Alright, let's do... I guess Sylvia is next. Sylvia is next. Sylvia would fall under mage damage. There's reasons why mage damage. Mage damage basically means mystic, like your magic, mostly magic-based user. Sylvia is not gonna stain her hands with getting them bloody or doing anything like overtly physical or anything like that. Sylvia is more of a character that would like rather snap their fingers to instantly destroy someone. Seven, the gaming Pop-Tart. I believe you're in here. Oh, that's a good point. Did I not put your... I have it downloaded. Where is it? Moo. I have so many pictures. Where is it? I know I had it. I swore I had it. Oh, there it is. Bam. There we go. There you go. You're in there now. Alright, anyways. Jessica's more... is a brute. Is a... Jessica's destruction damage, I would say. I was gonna put them in brute damage, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no. For everything Sylvia wouldn't want to stain her hands in, I could see Jessica grabbing a planet and then crushing it like that. So I would say Jessica's destruction damage. But Sylvia's definitely not gonna... Sylvia's not gonna waste her time. She's going to unleash a massive attack of magical energy or something and just obliterate anything that gets in her way or inconvenience her. That's just how it is. That's how it is. Oh my goodness, finally. We have our first... I think... See, there's no shield. So they're definitely... Excalibursaurus Rex, definitely a tank. I think... They're not... They look like they would be a tank mitigation, but I could see them being a tank dive. I would see Excalibursaurus Rex using a lot of fast attacks, but also, like, charging attacks. So, like, basically... Think of Reinhardt charge, but I would say I don't think you would take any damage. I think you would have like enough force of energy around you where you would mitigate damage. But I think you would be focused on like taking out like like if there was a group of enemies, you'd be taking out the main people. You would run right through all of the main forces, have them focus on you while you're attacking the support backline. Yeah, a disruptive tank. Yeah, that's basically what a dive tank is. So, hello, Katig! You're here again! Hello! Yes, destruction damage. Yeah, he is a huge dinosaur with a big sword. Exactly. And then you're gonna see the biggest opponent, and you're gonna be like, okay, I have to take that out. I'm the only one that can do that. And then you're gonna be fighting like one of the stronger opponents, and you're gonna be taking a lot of damage. And you're gonna be doing a lot of damage. You're not so much concerned about mitigating the damage as you are as pulling focus and disrupting. Very nightmare or guts. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Doing a lot of damage while taking a lot of damage. You know? You could also fall under brute damage. I could see you being brute damage if you were less armored up. But the armor that you have screams tank. It screams you are a tank. You know? So you are going in, you are taking the brunt of the damage while doing a lot of damage. So you need a good support on your team or another tank to pair with you so you don't get taken out. But you are gonna be messing some stuff up. I can see it. I can see you having a very cool like uppercut attack with your sword where like after you slice you shoot like fire from your sword because it looks like there's like an energy around it. And it could be like an energy attack where you can slice like enemies in half, like Frieza getting sliced in half by Trunks, like something like that. A key energy blast wave coming out, just like absolute destruction. That's why I wear my tank dive title with pride. Yeah, you are going in, you are disrupting the backline, and then you are fighting the biggest threat. That's it. That's all you do. But that's all you need to do. You know you're good at what you do. And there's nobody else to tell you otherwise. Alright. Next. We have... Okay, so let me look up her name. Excuse me for just a second. Scrolling. Okay. We have... Gaia! Namachakal. Our first healer support. I would say, based on the design, our first healer support. Very healer-esque, very elegant, very nice. Very cool. They're gonna have a lot of, like, milk-related healing attacks. I'm just kidding. They're a Machakal, so it's green. It's very cool. Well, I can see them having like a lot of like AoE healing abilities, like especially with like, you know, they could set up like a field barrier, that kind of like field cow barrier, so they could set that. So yeah, I can see them having a lot of AoE healing abilities, where they're just healing massive areas over time. Ah. I'm getting all the love. Love all the art. Yeah, looks cool, yes. So I can see that's where much would be. Definitely a healer. Definitely doing a lot of work in the back line. Someone you don't want to go down. This is the person that's keeping like all the squishy DPS, like the destruction damage or the stealth damage people up. They're that person. They have a massive field of AoE healing. You do not want this person going down or being knocked out. So definitely you're gonna have to peel to heal them, get them out of trouble if they need it, because if they go down, you're at least losing a really good support, a really good healer. Alright. Like how I said, I didn't think we were gonna have that many tanks, but we have 3 already. This is kind of crazy. I did say 3 or 4. Don't look into me. Okay, scrolling. I need to see. Project Doomland. Project Demon. I think. No. I think he's gonna fall under probably stealth damage. Probably stealth damage. I'm looking at his design. It screams very assassin themed. Like, to me at least, it screams assassin here. A lot of poison, a lot of, like, tanking. Very good. Very, very good. You're a tank? Yeah, of course I'm a tank. When have I never not been a tank? How many games have you seen me play and I haven't been a tank? Anyways, I am a tank. I explained why I'm a tank. Nobody should be questioning that, first of all. But yeah, I think Project Demon... I want to see, does he have any art of him having any kind of weapon? I'm gonna quickly look. No, just very sexy. Okay. Maybe sexy is his weapon. That is definitely a stealth DPS then. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's definitely... Okay, he's definitely assassin tier. Yep, okay. I don't even need to question that. I scrolled down a little bit. Like, think minus / equals big, yeah. We have a lot of Giants characters that didn't make it into the tank role, and if you're just thinking big makes you a tank, sorry, that does not make you a tank. Tank takes a mindset. Like, tank is a different mentality. Yeah. What are we tier listing? We're tier listing what I think people would be if they were in like a hero type fantasy shooter game or a hero type fantasy battle game. Think about it, if they were a character in a video game, what abilities they would have, what would they be, what would their role be, what would their, you know, stuff like that. So, yes. To relate, you're a shield style tank, kind of like Zarya, right? Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly. Like barrier projecting, like holding up maybe like an energy Rhyme shield, like with my crystal and stuff. You know, energy based stuff like that. But I also heal, so 7%. Oh, that'd be cool. Also, or what do you think? I don't know. You'd have to be on the tier list for me to know. I'm taking these thoughts at slowly at a time. I'm putting some thought into him as I see him, as I go through him. Now let me go back up, because now we're going into teams characters. The first one I downloaded was, I believe, Hugo. And this character is a horror type character. So honestly, horror type characters would also fall under stealth damage. This character looks like he does a lot of damage, but if he's caught in the fight, he's probably gonna get taken out really quickly. There's a lot of stealth damages. I wish there's actually GG. So GG actually looks like a mage damage. Like telekinesis, stuff like that. Actually, wait, I'm gonna put Hugo in tactical damage. Because actually, I don't think he's that stealthy from appearance, but I think he'd be a character that would set traps. I think he would be more like he would more like set traps to ambush people and scare people with fears and like that. I don't think he falls under stealth damage, but I think it's like a mix. I think he's more tactical. Like, he needs to have prep time, know who he's going after before he can like actually finish the job. You know what I mean? Can I send my... Yeah, DM me. Send me your character. If anybody wants to join in, definitely send me your characters. DM me, send me them, and then... Just a whittle gun. Just a little guy. Who's never touched and can go anywhere without line of sight. Yeah, so mage damage, yeah. You can either go to my Twitter post, or you can go into my Discord and DM me a ref of your character. It's easier to go to my Twitter post. Hold on, let me grab a link for you and put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. Yeah, I'll definitely add people. Yeah, like a reference of your character, you know, just that. So that way we can see your character, preferably like a headshot, and then maybe like a body shot so I can see what they look like fully. His material grows. Okay, so I feel like I'm spot on then. I feel like I'm spot on with him being a tactical damage then. The first tactical damage. That makes sense. Yeah. At first I thought stealth, but I was like, no, his legs, the way they're designed, he would not be able to sneak up on people. So I don't think he's speedy. I don't think he does damage over time. So he wouldn't be in that category. He's super tall and ticks, yeah. So he would need prep time. He'd need to study. He'd need to know the people he's going after. He would need time to actually work out a plan on how he's going to execute someone or something. Oh. Melt top. So cute. I love it. Very cute red panda. Melt top. Bam, there we go. And that one. So fun to see my OCs in so long. Yeah, that's cool. Next we have Mike. Mike, I know Mike deeply and personally. Or used to at least. Mike. See, the problem is he's somewhere between damage and support. I want to put him in probably utility support. Mr. Red Slide! Because if I look at Mike's character, and if I remember correctly, which I probably don't, it's been so long since I've talked to Mike. Mike has a split personality where his character is like a sniper, like a long-ranged attack, but he also has a person that's attached to his character that does all the damage. So I'm gonna put him in tactical. I feel like, because he's more of a sniper. Mike is a sniper, so he's taking people out long range. He is not trying to go into the fight. But that's the problem. He's either utility support, because the person that is attached to him, like the second person, which Mike didn't send me that ref for that character, but I still remember that character. It's part of his lore. Hi, Mr. Zardstov. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just hanging out, you know? And, so yeah. So, probably utility support is probably proper, but also I see him as a sniper, so I'm gonna put him in tactical damage. I think he's our second tactical damage. Because if I remember Mike's character correctly, if he does get hurt, then the other character comes out, and then that character, he does have a reference, but he didn't send me that. That character's a brute damage, a brute mage damage hybrid, where they fight physically, but they're amped by magical damage. So it's, you know, kind of one of those things. Okay. But yeah, I'll put him in tactical damage. That just makes sense. I wrote lore, forgot it yesterday. Yeah, it's not the answer? What's up? Yeah, I was talking about that. I was talking about that yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna make you play the quick play mode at least once. I hope we get more dive tank pals. Excalibursaurus Rex. Yikes. I wouldn't count on it. I think you might be lonely there. There might be... No. No, I think you're lonely there. I think you're gonna be lonely there. Yeah. Unless someone... Let me check my post to make sure that... Just in case some more people added some stuff. Let me check. Scrolling. I don't see any new refs. Probable spam. Alright. We're gonna do... We're gonna rate Goddess Kitsune, which they also look like they're mage damage. They look like they're going to have... Let me look. Actually, let me look into this VTuber a little bit more. I feel like... I want to see if they have any art of them with a weapon that could help me. Because if they're just the Kitsune, that's... Oh, actually, oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense. You know what? Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I think they would be actually... No. The mage damage and stealth damage is what I got from just looking at their character lore a little bit. So I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say mage damage, because there's a lot of glowing purple. What would siphon / poison damage be in? Stealth damage. That would be in stealth damage. Damage over time attacks, like bleeding out, poisoning, stuff like that, that requires a type of like sneak attack, like paralysis, sleeping, anything like that where it requires the enemy to be off guarded. I would put in stealth damage. I don't think this person off guards, so I'm gonna put them in mage damage. I feel like that's where I more feel comfortable with them in, because I feel like they have a lot, like they would have a lot of attacks that are like bright and glowy and not like for the unseen. So that's where I'm gonna put them. So she's character, I think she's would actually be up on our stealth damage, speaking of, because they are very snake themed. Snake, poison, that would make sense. A lot of she's character is very sweet, very silent, very calm demeanor. See, I was gonna put she's in utility support, because they have like a lot of snakes on their stream, and I feel like the snakes would be their utility, but I don't think how I think she's would use the snakes versus how the she's would actually use the snakes. I think that would be two very different things. So I don't think they would be like utility. I would think that it would just be like straight off guard, assassin damage, poisoned, they're gone. You know? Like if I think you were in a team, you know, I think you would use them like Distractions would also fall under utility support. Maybe like summoning a lot of them. That would be like a utility support thing. I feel like you would be more comfortable with just like sneaking up behind someone and having the big snake just take them out, like gobble up. I feel like that's more of like your GoPro instead of having like a bunch of small snakes that are very poisonous, like going around and sneaking and which that would also fall under stealth damage. So I feel like you are a stealth damage because you have a lot of like, I'm gonna say, because you could just be the one big snake, but I'm gonna just say you inherently control any snake. I'm gonna just give you that power. Like, that's fair. Like strong attack, but all on long cooldown. This with small summons that do damage. Yeah, damage over time. Yeah, like that. There's a lot of like inherent poison and a lot of like, you know, even big snakes are grappling. You're taking out one opponent at a time, and it's better if you off guard them instead of fighting them head on. So I feel like the way you would actually go out on taking out enemies is off guarding them, which would also fall under stealth because you would have to be stealth damagey to actually pull some of those attacks off. Because you wouldn't want to fight anybody head up, because if you did, like characters that can like are a little bit faster than you would take you out, I would say. You know, so you would want to always make sure that you are sneaky, stealthy. And then maybe you're the distraction, and then the snake takes him out. So that would make you, yeah, that would definitely be stealth. Like a utility stealth, you know? Which would just make sense, right? I feel like that just makes sense. Hello, Chaos! Hi, cutie! Hello! Alright. Let me check my post. I got a notification. Ooh, horror themed. Very cool. Thank you, Celtic, for the submission. Go ahead and do that. I suck at stealth characters in game. I would be bad at being myself. No, you wouldn't. You're good at being very nice. I feel like stealth isn't just like creeping and crawling. It also can be just being masked, disguised, and surprising somebody. The point of like stealth is to catch the opponent off guard. That doesn't mean you have to be like invisible, sneaky, and shady, which it kind of does, but also it doesn't. Like, you know, it's like you would be better suited, you know, that way. Unless you change that aspect, which you could. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be going from the stealth damage type to the brute damage type, if you want. Or I could see you going into the mage. Or pure destruction if you just go crazy one day. But I think you fit comfortably in the stealth damage type, where you're better suited fighting one person at a time. Devi could probably take on a group. Destruction damage would take out like buildings and massive attacks and stuff. Mage damage is finishing the fight as soon as possible, you know, with like abilities that obliterate, you know, which would also fall under destruction, but it's a little bit different, you know. That would be a healer. Especially since I love healers. So I thought we're gonna get a decent amount of healers coming up. I think like at least a few healers. Let me look up this person's name real quick. Alright. Excuse me, I have to do some scrolling because they were very first one on my. Okay, moon. Zusukaze Shimiachi. Another cow. And I don't want to be rude. I don't want to put all the cows in the support So, Tsuzume looks like they would do mage damage just from first glances. I don't know this person's straight up. I feel like yeah. Yeah. The more I look into them, yeah, they scream mage damage. Even though they're in a back alley, which would make you think that they would be a stealth damage. No. The way that I'm getting the vibe off of them is mage damage. Mage. Very mage. They probably have some hidden gems. Alright. We have our first actual mage. So I'm gonna put our first actual mage actually in the mage damage spot. Because the VTuber skate would be very mage damagey. But their original character lore would be a stealth damage. And to talk about Skate for a minute here, Skate's character went from like looking like someone that would be like running around with daggers and like they would jump on someone's back and just start stabbing them like Chucky to like a decently powerful, knowledgeable mage. They have books floating around them. The character is very smart, probably has a lot of utility, like damage abilities under their belt. Also can be a support. I kind of want to put Skate in the support, but the other character that they sent me, which is this dude, looks actually like a druid, like a support druid type character. Which, let me look at what they're called. Again, it's hard to do with chibis because it's hard to get a full feel of like what the character is actually wearing. But he's holding a staff. That is a knife at the end of the staff, so it could be a damage, but most Sokad is. But the other character is a utility support. They have a bunch of gadgets. They are building things. They're probably not doing that many damage things. They'd be like an engineer! The engineer! That character. So, yeah, okay. So now we got Skate had a lot of OCs that we were gonna do, and they were all like different, like all across the board. Like, one of his characters I definitely see as a healer. I don't care what he says, like the moss on the staff, and there's a druid type healer kind of character. And then this person's definitely utility support. They're building gadgets, they're building tools, they're building things. Some people could say they may be tactical damage, with these things maybe being like able to blow up, but I feel like it'd be smarter if they were like tactical drones and like maybe there's one that blows up and does damage, or there is one that heals, or there's one that applies maybe a damage boost. It amps the, person that they're with on the team, and it gives them a little bit of a power boost. It's like, that would be utility support. Yeah. Like, I don't know how to say that. Like, scrolling, gotta find the thing. Booby beat the bird. Which their character looks like an MMA fighter, and they definitely kind of drove that home with some of the gifts that they sent me. Their character's very pretty, but I feel like that, yeah, probably a brute fighter. This is a hand-to-hand combat person. I feel like that he expressed that very well with the gifts that they sent me. I don't see, especially with the outfit that they're wearing, also screams like MMA fighter. Because it's not anything that would scream out support. So I'm gonna put them in brute damage. They're fighting hand to hand. The VTuber with the little boxing gloves. Yeah. So I'm definitely thinking they're fighting hand to hand. Are they probably the strongest brute fighter? No, they're probably like Iron Fist, Think of like Iron Fist. Think of like, those kind of characters that like punch and kick. They're doing brute damage, but they have to do it in quick succession to build up damage over time. So, probably like that, I would say. Now we're getting back to another giant character. So yeah, I would definitely think it would be like an MMA fighter type character. Oh gosh. So now we're back to one of Jessica's characters. Their name is Taylor Swift. No, I'm just kidding. Their character is Taylor, and they sent me a gif of them doing WWE wrestling. So, I think they want me to put them in brute damage, which I'm more than happy to oblige. So this character wants to do grapple attacks, wants to like punch, wants to kick, wants to throw somebody. They want to be very up and handsy. They could fall under destruction damage, but the way that I got the vibe from them is they're not purely destroying. They like the thrill of the game. They're in it for the game. You know? More giants. Yeah, we love our giants here. They're very big people. Very cute, very big. Very, very big. Very massive. Like a massive, huge people. Let me make sure. I'm getting close to the end of the list. Which is kind of crazy because we're basically like everybody that was originally on the list, and then the extras that joined in late. They're not extras. Like extras sounds bad. They're not extras. All right, we have Prince, the unicorn. I think Prince. I have to think. I have to put some thought into where I would put Prince. Prince is a unicorn. I have to put some thought. I have to think. Because besides Prince just being casual citizen, you know, and I've been jarred. No. I'm trying to think of what kind of attacks Prince would have. I think obviously, since unicorn magic would be involved, so probably mage damage. But I could also see Prince being a support healer. I don't know. I feel like Prince would want to do more damage at the end of the day. So I think oh man, I have to think. Because there's two different ways this could go. I'm gonna put Prince. I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark. I'm gonna put Prince in the mage damage. You know, I'm gonna put him in mage damage. I feel like he has a lot of abilities and utilities that would make him a force to be reckoned with. So I feel like I would be more comfortable putting him in damage than in support. Bond, brute damage. That is very easy. Bond very strong. Bond is super good. Bond very cute. But Bond is very, very strong. This is one of the references I got was them all like buff and muscular, so they would definitely fit perfectly in the brute damage category. Oh my goodness. Our very own support. Matt's VTuber. Matt, the main support. That's what they do. They are healer support. They are healer support. Straight up, straight out. And we got utility support Galwick. Now, I know what people are gonna say, but Thorn, Galwick is literally a mage. That doesn't matter. His abilities would be used to help Ren, which is his destruction damage. They are a team. They're a pair. Galwick wouldn't be using a lot of damage abilities. Anyways, he'd be amping Ren, beating him, making him larger. Very utility support. Very, like... very, very support. He's very utility support. He's making amping spells, like a damage amp or a genius amp, you could say. Damage reduction, you know, stuff like that. Is he healing? Probably not. But, you're getting that on cooldown. Because I'm getting numbed on cooldown. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I would say definitely Because Ren is just straight up destruction damage from everything I know about Ren. Everything I've learned about Ren. It's just destruction. Just no you die. Kind of way. Very destruction damage. So that's where he would go. We have our another cow being 7. And 7 would also be I have to think. Seven would be different. Because I could see them being a brute damage. Because of how their character's built with like strong muscular cowness. Which I think is more right. I feel like if you get in a fight with 7, you're probably gonna lose in a physical fight. I don't see 7 being like magical based or weapons based. 7's definitely... She's muscular. She's very strong. Yeah, if you get in a fight with her, you're probably gonna lose. So I would say she's probably a really good fit for brute damage. Gosh, we only have 3 tanks. Ari! Ari is the amazing, fantastic... Someone just sent me friend request. Sorry. Who is this person? Oh, yeah. Sorry, someone just had messaged me. I thought it was somebody that was trying to join. Ari, the vampire sleepers. You already know. You already know where Ari's gonna be, guys. That stealth damage is very simple, very easy. And now you're thinking, Thorn, but how could the, like, 364-pound sleepy bus be a stealth damage? Wouldn't it make sense? I got gurgled up right then and there. Unbelievable. Wouldn't it make more sense? Nah. Trust me, I know what I'm thinking. Ari is very adorable. They lure you in. They lure you in a false sense of security. And most people just get absorbed. That's basically what they do. Part vampire, they're part slime vampire. That's scary. A slime vampire, siphon damage? Yes. They're just it's damage over time. It's stuff like that. Could Ari be slightly tanky with damage mitigation? Probably. But I don't see Ari as a tank. Ari fits better as a stealth damage because Ari is not gonna be losing a fight if Ari gets the first hit in. You know? And that's basically how it's gonna go, because people are gonna be like, oh my goodness, Ari's so cute, so snuggly, so everything. And then, you know, they get tricked. And then bang, all it takes is just one hit. And it could be damage over time, a siphon damage, or it could be a paralyzing damage. And then it's just over. You know? Now we're dealing with the mage cat, Volga. And from everything that I was looking at, big strong cat, I think they would just fit under, they'd probably fit under destruction damage. Probably not destruction damage. Probably brute damage, actually. Probably brute damage. Or damage over time, yeah. I feel like Volga would be good as a brute damage. They're definitely not fast. They don't look like they're the fast type character. like in these characters, which some of them aren't fast, but they also fit in the stealth category because they're off guarders. So characters like Ari and She's, they might not look like they're fast, but they off guard people with like a surprise attack or like the unsuspecting attack, you know. So that's why they're in the stealth, because they have to off guard. While characters like Blazy, Kasuna, Project, they're very fast type characters and probably could end the fight very quick. Oh, hello Seven, welcome back. We put you in the brute damage category because you're very strong. You're very strong, very muscular. And I was like, if anybody's trying to get into a hand-to-hand combat with Seven, they're probably gonna lose. They're probably gonna lose. Alright, Phenicnon. Oh gosh. Fluffy healer. He's healing. He's giving you little heals. He's very fluffy. Because immune to damage, thank goodness. Alrighty. I would put Phenicnon as a healer. He looks like a healer. He could be utility support or healer support, but I feel like he'd be better as a probably a healer. He's a cup of coffee. For crying out loud. The final four. True. We're hitting the final count. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da da dum dum. Bum 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 bum. Ba da da. Ah! You got silly boss. I also got you too. We rated you guys already. Welcome, Jessica. Yes. You guys all made it in different tiers. Yeah, you too. I included you right here. Is you with the siphon damage? It depends. I would say it depends. Depends on the type of damage. Or even notice the Thornier is no longer evil. Yeah. It's a little bit out of sync a little bit right now. Let me try to refresh it. I gotta redo it. I kind of want destruction damage. Yes. Destruction damage is just pure destruction. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Drew is... I need to think. Let me look at Drew's reference real quick again. If I can remember where she goes. Because they have a very beautiful picture here. I love the lance. I love the lance spear weapon. I love the energy-based attacks. I feel like Drew could either be... I feel like Drew is probably going to be our third tactical damage. And here's why. I feel like you guys are going to be like, why would Drew be tactical damage when they look like they would fight with a spear and they have energy attacks? Wouldn't that make them mage damage? Actually, yeah, that does make more sense for mage damage. But I feel like Drew is very smart. I feel like Drew is going to be the kind of character that's going to be setting up for a fight. They're not going to just run in head on and charge in. They're going to be tactically scoping out the area. I mean, they're a lance user / spear user, for crying out loud. They want to keep at a distance. They want to. And it depends on what kind of abilities that the spear allows Drew to have. I feel like Drew's spear would grant them abilities that would allow them to be tactical. Because if Drew fights head on, I feel like Drew is going to more often than not lose. But if they have the tactical advantage where they're setting up like a trap or an ambush or even fighting, but also like while they're fighting, they're setting up for something for a off-guard attack, which that would require setup time. That would not make them a stealth damage because they would have to fight in the meantime. That would also make them tactical. But I don't think they have a lot of magical abilities to just... or gold. I don't think they have enough magical prowess to just be full mage damage. I feel like there's a bit of like you know, the spear's a creation spear. He doesn't know how to fully use it yet. It's not yet learned that manipulates energy, both absorbing and using. Okay, yep, that would make Drew a tactical. Yeah, I would say Drew would be a tactical then, our third tactical damage, because that would just make sense. Because if you're absorbing energy and then you have to know when to release the energy for a larger attack, and depending on if you can shoot the energy and maybe make distance between you and the other person, like making it a blast, or even like having it on the outside of the blade, you know, to give your blade extra reach, that would inherently make you more of a tactical fighter. Inherently. Because then you would have to put a lot of thinking in all the attacks you're doing. Like, you're gonna fall into mage damage because you couldn't, like, instantly use the magical ability to destroy or get rid of whatever is in your way. You wouldn't be destruction because the spear doesn't destroy, like, AoE areas. You wouldn't be stealth because you have to build the damage over time by storing the damage. So yeah, you would be a tactical. I feel very confident in saying you'd be a tactical. I don't think you'd be a support or a healer either, so. I pull up on them. Doesn't see or hear it because of the potential energy on impact. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Are you going to post the results? Yeah, I'll post the results. Absolutely. I'll post them on my Twitter as soon as we're done. And then we'll play some Overwatch. We'll check out the new season, because I got it downloaded. I'm like a little bit excited for that. Sweet. Alrighty. Tyne. Tyne is going to be very... I feel like Tyne is going to be difficult to rate, but... Because I feel like... I want to put Tyne in, like, the healer category, but I feel like that's wrong. I don't feel like Tyne would be a healer. I'm like in the mix between healer and then brute damage. The only reason why I feel like this is because I think Tyne is like a very strong character, but I also feel like they would like do stuff to heal people or be a utility support. But I feel like they'd rather fight with their hands. I feel like Tyne's more of a person that would get messy a little bit. I feel like Tyne wants to get up close and personal. I feel like that's how it is. I feel like that's more of like what Tyne would do. But I also could see Tyne being like a support. But I feel more confident putting them in brute damage. Because I feel like if you backtalk Tyne, they're gonna smack you and then just jump at you. I feel like that's good. Like, yeah, she does seem like she would bring the damage, yeah. With those thighs, the thighs never lie. Harry's final attack surprise consumes fire when it heals the user and adds 25% increase to damage, but 25 decrease for speed for 60 seconds. Yeah, see, that makes sense. Alright, you need to get some range attacks if you're gonna have that kind of ability. Because then you could actually do some really good damage if you had some ranged attacks with that amp. Anything with speed reduction, you need something with range. Otherwise, you get close to being a tank, but you don't get any of the benefits of like any damage mitigation as a tank would. Because you don't have any negate damage abilities from what I've seen. Besides just getting chubby, but that wouldn't make you negate damage, that just makes you an easier target. Which wouldn't be, you know. Well, I guess who my favorite Overwatch characters are? Roadhog. Junker Queen. There we go. I don't play much Overwatch 2. A big A. Alright, we're down to the final two. The final two of this chapter. Unless someone sent me another thing, which they didn't. They did not. They didn't send one. Which is good. Or bad. I might do it again if, you know, I'd be down to do this tier list again. I think it'd be fun. The same vibe. Yeah, Chaos, if you wanna be on the tier list, yeah, sure. I'd definitely take you. Let's go ahead and rate Miltop, because I feel like Miltop is going to be an easy character to rank, because I feel like they're also going to fall under either the stealth damage, or the utility, or the support healing. But I feel like stealth damage, because of how nimble they are, I could see Miltop holding 2 sickle blades, and, like, absolutely, like, running fast, speed blitzing somebody, and just, like, plop! With the double sickle blades to somebody's neck, and then like head plops on the ground, like the absolute rogue type build. I played most Zarya. Nice. Rise TOS, yeah. I think a lot of people would put you as a support bottom because I mean you are a bottom, but I think assassins and rogues are also bottoms. So I would put you as a stealth damage type. I could definitely see you being the quick and fast in and out attack damage type character. But I don't think you're a support. I don't see you being the I don't see your character having any ability that could overtly heal a character or keep them alive through long periods of time. I see your character holding 2 sickle blades, running at somebody, running up on a wall. Maybe you have like a wall run ability or something, being very, very fast, and then executing a target. In and out. Very quick. I mean, if you look at your character's legs, like your leg design, it's basically what it is. Oh my goodness. We got the Cabot. Asuna just sent me another OC to put up there. Which, that OC is really cool. Might just... You just said... Hey, yo! Yeah, I could definitely see you being with sickle blades, like a rogue assassin type cloak. Yeah. I definitely see you. I feel like that fits your character pretty decently, especially with how your character's body build is. Especially with how long your tail is, too. Yeah. Lots of Lamias go in the stealth damage. Also, like I said, it's really hard for people to get into the tank category. A lot of characters in the brute category could be also in the tank. I'm a banana. Wow, I'm a banana in a... I'm a banana in Jen's pocket. Wow. I'm a banana in Jen's pocket. Wow. Wow. This is backup snake. Yeah. Alright. I feel like horror characters fit really good in tactical damage. But I feel like Celtic's character also falls under brute damage. But they're a horror character, so they're best to set like I feel like their character is best set up in a scene where they crawl out of a wall. Like maybe their character has an ability where it allows them to see people through walls, like wall hacks inherently, like infrared wall hacks, and they can actually traverse through walls, making like black inky like portals or something, and then they crawl through. Very xenomorphic vibes, yeah. And I feel like that'd be a very tactical damage because it could either go tactical or very stealth-like. Xenomorph would be a stealth damage. Maybe they should be a stealth damage. I could see... You know what? Yeah, I think they would actually be a stealth damage. Because they would have to take opponents off by surprise. In the fear of their character. Their character would have to make a presence. Like how Count Dooku trained General Grievous. That character wants to break the opponent before they engage him with a surprise, fear, and intimidation. If any one of those is lacking, it'd be better if that character retreats. So I feel like with more horror type themes, I feel like that would be where that character is. There's more physical things, not many abilities apart from spitting acid. So basically, his is Xenomorph. So yeah. How fast are they? Are they a quick character or a slow character? Are they? Because if they're slow and broody, I feel like that takes away from the design of like the character a little bit. Not that I would know anything about character design, but the way that this character design looks, it looks like they would crawl on walls. Very good way to... Yeah. Me going in. Night night, Ari! Night night! Love you, Ari. Have a good sleep. Have a good eat. Night night. Night night. Good dreams, kitties. I still think I'm gonna keep them in stealth damage. I feel like you're gonna disagree with me on this, but this is my tier list. This is my tier list.
Queen underscore Amir underscore Morazan raided my stream with 3 views.
Long tail. Welcome, Raiders! Welcome in, Toxic Touch. Welcome in, Shan. Welcome in, everybody else that's lurking in the shadows. We're doing a character tier list. I'm here. You tell me prison the villain. No! You can tell me prison me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Thornier. Hello, Alien King. Welcome in. Well, it didn't work. No. What didn't work? The snuggles? They worked. I saw those snuggles. Yeah, you got 72 snuggles. Ah, so cute. I love your emote, Shan. Very cute emotes. Come on. Yeah. I feel like, yeah. Celtic, I feel like we have to... I feel like you want your character to be in the brute damage. Which, like I said, they could be, but I feel like your character design is more fit for stealth damage. I feel like your character would be more fit for stealth damage. Especially with how the arm built, the body built, like how the muscles are on that character. You know? I feel like that would make more sense if they're more stealthy. Like, I could see your character hanging up on a ceiling, waiting for someone to walk into the room, and then letting go and dropping down onto that person, and then maybe, like, not maybe crushing them, but, like, tearing them apart, you know, with their strength. I feel like that's how they would use their strength. I would, like, brute damage, I feel like is more for the characters that are naturally strong and muscular and would fight hand-to-hand, you know? So that's where I would think. Very animalistic, very ambush predator, so yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah. So I still think stealth damage would be where they would fit. It doesn't matter how big they are. We have giantess characters on here, and I didn't put them in the tank category, which would be where I think 90% of people would put them. They're like, oh, giantess, tank. No. You gotta have the mentality of a tank. Our cabin. Our chaos. Our chaos the cabin. So I think Cabot would be tactical damage. They're a pirate. I don't think. I think Chaos would be more of a character that is going to analyze the fight and see if it's something that they can win, because they don't want to like go in. They do want to go in guns blazing, but not like where it's a fight that they could lose. I feel like they're not going to be stealthy because they're a pirate. They're not a brute damage, a physical character. I don't see Chaos having so many magical abilities where it would make them a magic damage. And none of their abilities that I could see Chaos having is pure destruction. So that would mean that Kabit would be a tactical damage or utility support. Well, I would see more on the tactical damage type side. I could see Kabit using other means of methods to actually achieve a win in a fight. But stealth is also good, yeah. Yeah, and then we have Dragon DNA. Our army of glass cannons. We do have a lot of stealth damages, but stealth damage is cool. Stealth damage is like really cool. I wouldn't blame it. We have a lot of brute damages too. There's a lot of DPS people, like I said. Let me read up on what Kasuna just sent me. Amamor Esther Colomore is dragon. She has dragon DNA and is over 10 feet tall. That's very cool. I like it. It's very brute damage. Like the character is screaming brute damage, especially with like the sword and the sickle. They want to do damage. But with the way that I think they could be the second dive tank. But I don't think so, because I think they would be actually a brute damage. I feel like I'm more confident with either dragon. I'm thinking they would have actually destruction damage. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say destruction damage, because I can see them swinging their sword and then destroying a bunch of stuff because of like their dragon innate abilities. I feel like they would have to be careful with their destructive tendencies more than they would be about protecting or doing tank-like things. So I'm gonna say that they're a destruction damage. I feel like I'm more confident with them being a destruction damage, because I feel like when you're dealing with dragon DNA, that dragon DNA could also lead into tank, but also with the sickle throws me off from tank. It makes me innately think damage, and when I'm thinking of like the sword damage plus dragon, that leads to a lot of destruction. I feel like that would be more of where they would fit, as like a destruction damage type character. So like, I think that's where I would put them, a very destructive character, very damage. And if anybody wants to submit their characters, just DM me some pictures of your character, and then yeah. And then yes. And then I'll put them in. We'll do last call road calls. If anybody wants to get in before I call it, I'll do a little announcement on my Discord server too. We'll give it like 5 minutes. We'll hang out and talk, and then I'll go over what like my overall thoughts and feelings on the list overall. This will be the part where maybe a character would change. Maybe I move a character up and down on the list, or not. Hugo builds stuff, so wouldn't he be in utility? Here's my thing. With the things he'd be building, are they personal utilities or team utilities? So utility support would be he's making things for an entire group. If he's making traps or different builds just for his own gain, he would be in tactical damage. Because then that just is set up for him to do damage. Yeah. So, yeah, utility support's a little bit different because it's utility that can also do damage, but also more or less the utility in that role or that category is doing things to help an entire team. You know? Okay, no, you're not dumb. You're not dumb. It's my tier list. Like I just set it up. That's just how I'm thinking. I mean, you know. Alright. So we'll go ahead and start from top and we'll work our way down. So in the tank category, we have 3 tanks. Tank healer. This is the tank that takes a lot of damage but outputs a lot of healing. Which would also wouldn't be healer support, which people would get, I can see people getting confused. Because my character is unique in the way where any damage my character takes would be outputted as energy for damage mitigation or damage healing. My character doesn't have that many like attacks overall, but I am a tank. I would be a tank healer. So that's where my character is. I'd be on the front lines. I'd be fighting. I'd be pulling focus. I'd be taking damage, and then any damage I do take, I would be outsourcing that and healing. Blah 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 blah. I got gobbled up again. Come on, gamers. Come on, gamers. We got Shane. Very cute. Chibi Shane. That's not NSFW, is it? I don't think that's it. Everyone hungry? Yeah. That's cool. Wow. Wowee! Flames sent me. Flames is joining in. Oh my goodness. This is legendary. I get to put Flames on. I get to talk about my best friend's character. This is amazing. This is something I always love to do. Alright, I'm gonna use that image because it's a little bit more zoomed in and I feel like it'll show up on stream a little bit better. People can see what you look like. We'll do nice. Flames. We'll talk about Shan first and then Flames. Shan is a maid succubus, right? That's the vibe I get from their character, succubus. Very succubus, very abyss. Very abyss. I feel like I have to think. I had a lot of time to think of everybody else's because I had like a whole few days to think for most people, except for like the last few people. I had like only a few like during the stream. Yeah, this but also has gravity manipulation abilities. Okay. I feel like you would probably fall under more of the mage damage type build then. Because I don't think you would want to fight close combat. Like hand to hand, so that immediately eliminates brute and stealth. But if you have if you have mage gravity and manipulation, that could unbelievable. That could mean that you could fall under destruction damage or mage damage. I feel like mage damage would fit better for your character because your succubus abilities. Yeah. See, when I think of destruction damage, I'm thinking of like massive AoE damage. Those are not massive AoE damages. Those are very close personal, like, magic-based abilities that also keep you at a safe distance where you can do damage, but also not be hit by certain things. So, like, you're a mid-range fighter at worst, and then you're a long-range fighter probably at best. I think you have a very good attack range between 40 to 50 feet. So I think that's where, like, you'd probably be best at that range. So I feel like having your abilities out that far, I feel like that would make you fit more of like a mage damage dealer. I don't think your character does traps, so I can't really put you in tactical, because tactical damage would be the only one I could also put you there. But you don't have long range capabilities beyond ice, like 200 feet, like sniper range kilometers at that point. Or you don't have like many like trap based abilities or utilities like that that would like help you amplify yourself into a fight like the rest of the tactical damage users. So I would think you'd fit more in the mage category. A lot of magical power, mid-range power. Like using your gravity to grab somebody and then fling them into the air, or suddenly slam them back down. They splat on the ground. Or having your tendrils like instantly go along the shadows and appear out of nowhere and just impaling somebody from like a distance. Like I can see that happening with your character for sure. I can't see your character sneaking up because I feel like you'd be more prideful than that. I think you would want your enemies to at least see you before they perish. So I don't think you'd be a stealth fighter because of your personality. Very adorable, very prideful, very succubus mid, very mage worthy type attacks. So I think he would fit perfectly in the mage damage. As for flames would be into destruction damage. Probably the strongest destruction damage person here. His character literally has the power of BS. Anything that can go right will go wrong. Anything that can like go wrong will go right. Anything that goes up goes down. His character makes no sense. His abilities are just the power of BS. He is pure destruction incarnate. He's probably the strongest destruction damage dealer. He doesn't appear as a mage. You know, so I said the like random effect, yeah. Basically like that. Random chance. It's like something's going your way and then he's like, go gadget F you. And you just kind of, like a mountain behind you would explode. Maybe it doesn't hurt you, but it makes you think twice, you know? Reverse of everything? No, it's just bullcrap. It's just bullshit. Barely used the counter Thorn, yeah. Which would make him destruction. He's like Junkrat mines. He's like Junkrat attacks to a barrier. Like it just breaks anything I could mitigate pretty quickly. Very punk-like, very evil, very punk. Yeah. So he's definitely the definition of a destruction. Like it's just destruction damage. He does massive AoE damage. Like there's a city, we're just chilling. He's like, you know what would be cool? Sets up a sitcom gag and then the city blows up. Like it's just like that. It's like a Family Guy cutaway. That's how it feels like, okay? I thought Hugo was OP with regeneration. I think the most OP character we have on the list is probably Sylvia. It'd be Sylvia, and then probably Flames, and then probably Jessica. If we're talking purely like OP, like the no you kind of stuff, I feel like it would definitely be. That's how that would go. We're not ranking off of OP-ness though. OP-ness? We're not rating off of OP-ness, we're rating off of what abilities they would use. Because if this was like a power scaling tier list, this did not be fun. This would not be as fun. Sure, it would be fun for a little while, but then I would have to make like, you know, OP-ness. Oh my goodness. But then it's like, we'd have to talk about like multiversal threats and like characters that I could refer to for people to understand how strong Sylvia's character is. It's like the living tribunal kind of like character that's like is characters that are so strong they don't make sense. That would be headache inducing if I had the power scale everybody. Most of these people are probably like city block level or like, you know, your average superhuman, and then it would just like gap like honestly that's the city to cuts to burning city. Yeah. Is it the power of continuity change? Yeah, something like this. Power of BS. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's probably around there. It's redonkulon. It's redonkulon. But there we go. We have the tier list. Unless somebody has sent me a message. I'm gonna check everything real quick before I call it a close. But I'm happy that I could rate Shin. I think Shin definitely fits perfectly in the mage category. But let's go ahead. We talked a lot about stealth damage. There was a lot of stealth damage users. I feel like you guys kind of know how I'm like thinking when I'm thinking of a stealth damage user. I feel like you guys know that. Like quick, speedy, or damage over time, or surprise attacks. Ambushing type characters. Destruction type characters. Characters that are so overtly strong that they can accidentally unintentionally destroy things that are in their path. So that's the destruction type damage characters. Like they're just really, really overtly strong damage. New skin each season. Well, we'll see. Then we get the brute type damage. These are your muscular type build characters. These are the characters that are fighting hand to hand that are going to like, you're gonna throw a punch at them, they're gonna grab your hand, twist it, lift up, and then your wrist is gonna snap. That is that. Like, that's the kind of like brute force kind of thing. They're going to punch you. You're going to get hurt. You know. Then we got the mage damage. I know we've talked a lot about the mage damage. Those are the characters where I feel like they are going to be using abilities from a distance. They are not going to want to get close, but they also want to kind of be close to revel in the chaos that they're bringing upon their enemies, absolutely obliterating them from safe and comfortable on their chair. You know, the sit back and relax, I'm gonna like absolutely kill them kind of characters. You know? Then we got the tactical damage characters. They have to put thought, and a lot of thought in how they're going to attack or perceive attack characters, you know? So that's why they're tactical. Let's do for some side help with my OCs. Sure, why not? Utility support. Utility support are characters that build utilities to help their team. And so yeah, these are characters that give amplifications to the people they're on. Husky being super adorable and giving him headpats and telling him he's a good boy gives everybody a boost in, you know, morale. Then Skay's OC character building machines like an engineer. And then Galway could be a utility support where he amplifies powers I can see that happening a lot with his mage abilities, but he's also a slime. So you think that because he's a mage, he'd be in mage damage, but no, he would be supporting his destruction counterpart. Everything he does would support the destruction counterpart, which is really cool. Healer support. These are all the people that do massive amounts of healing, but they're very, 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 very weak. So we got Mishkaya. Does a lot of AoE healing. I can see you're doing a lot of AoE healing. A lot of healing. This one I could see must go doing a bunch of dedicated healing. I could see him like shooting like green orbs at people and they getting healing over time. Matt, main support. Everything Matt does just heals you. Your soul, your bones, your knees. Fennec Gnome, you know, they're just adorable. They heal you. They give you a little coffee, and then the coffee gives you heals you for 50% damage and gives you stamina and energy back. So, you know, I can see that being that too. So there we go. We have the full list. So I'm glad that we could do this. Like I said, I didn't think there was going to be that many tanks on the list. I am very harsh on how I judge tanks because like tank, you have to have the mindset. It's a different mindset. Like, I'm a tank main in all the games I play, so I guess that makes it like I'm very harsh on how I judge tanks, I guess. So, but characters that are like big, beefy, you know, strong, they're out there willing to put their life on the line for others, kind of like, you know. I feel like a lot of the tanks that I have would be very good at tanks. Tanks that are pulling a lot of focus, pulling a lot of healing, pulling a lot of like damage mitigation, pulling a lot of like backline focus. And I feel like we have at least one person for all the tank roles that I have in my head. So I feel like that's good, you know? But yeah, I like how I did the list. I'm gonna download. Download it. Did it download? No. Why is it doing that? Oh, there we go. There we go. Yay! Now it's downloaded. I have it. I have it now. I'm very happy about that. So we got it. I'm gonna post it on my X right now. That way you guys can just be like, wow. Thank you everybody for being here for the tier list. I'm gonna go ahead and play some Overwatch after this for a bit. So if you want to hang out for that, you are more than welcome to stay and hang out with me. I'll be talking to chat and hanging out. So we'll be doing some of that. I'm very grateful for everybody that was on the tier list. Thank you everybody that joined. I'm very, very happy. Hello, Starry! We're gonna go ahead and post the... I'm gonna call it the Thorns tier list. Thorns tier list. Rename. Thorns tier list. There we go. It was a lot of fun, yeah. I'm gonna go to sleep now, I think. Alright, have a good night. Thank you for stopping by, Celtic. Yeah, I'm glad that you had a lot of fun being here. I'm glad I could make the tier list, so I'm very happy. I very much stand on where I put everybody. I feel like I did a really good job putting people where I think they belong with like their character builds and stuff. Maybe next time we'll get more armored characters, we'll get more tanks, but I feel like we did great.